This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Download it right now or I'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. Once upon a time in the gaming industry, everyone was trying to copy Call of Duty's homework. Call of Duty 4 in 2007 essentially revolutionized not just the military shooter genre, not just the first-person shooter genre, but the entire gaming industry as a whole. It achieved this by being among the first modern military shooters to not be complete dogshit. Even to this day, even so long after the end of Call of Duty's golden age, even in the face that we now have like 3 times more slop than we do actual good games, Call of Duty is still selling copies in the millions. Its cultural legacy so potent that it's probably one of the first things you'll think of when you think of the words video game. So naturally, like every multi-billion-dollar corporation publishing an IP, the shareholders could smell the money. So they sat everyone down in a conference room, shot up a PowerPoint presentation, and told their dev teams, hey, do that. And this is how we get games like Medal of Honor. What? A game so bland and uninspired, it kind of looks like the shit you'd see Jimi playing in GTA 5.
What the fuck?
I don't even remember what the story is. You just run around the mountain shooting goat herders. It's just the most inane fucking non-existent plot. You have Battlefield 3, a game that looked at everything that Bad Company 2 did well and forced it down the shitter. Because every 5 seconds between the constant paper-thin gunfighting, you'll get ambushed by some crackhead who challenges you to an hilariously awkward QuickTime event. Yeah, this is what it feels like enabling QTEs in Dispatch, although in Battlefield 3's defense, it actually has gameplay.
This is all pre-rendered cutscenes. Like, what does it even matter? It doesn't. If I do nothing, I swear to God, if I do nothing, nothing will happen. Like, look, okay? I'm not doing anything. I didn't do anything. I'm not touching anything. Doesn't matter. I'm not doing anything. Don't have to do nothing. I'm just gonna watch. I'm just gonna watch. Don't have to do nothing.
You get fucking Homefront, which exists in a fantasy world where the North Koreans are actually competent. You know, the only reason this game features the North Koreans, however, is pretty much because if they made them the Chinese like they originally wanted to, they wouldn't have been able to sell the game in China. Yeah, 50 million COD games if you fight the Russians. Not even the Russians were this butt mad about it. That's the only interesting tidbit I have to say about Homefront, man. There's literally nothing else here. It honestly doesn't matter because all these games are completely interchangeable from a design perspective. You're a rock-hard military man, you follow Mr. Waypoint Man through a cramped corridor, shoot a bunch of geezers in ski masks, I don't know, you save the world or something, and the game ends after 3 hours. Wow, $60 well spent. It's not that they're inherently bad games, it's just they're basically all carbon copies of each other. Like, look at this. Is this Medal of Honor? Is this Rogue Warrior?
I'm gonna fuck your mother in the ass, and then I'm gonna chop her fucking head off, okay?
No, it's a fucking James Bond game made by Treyarch, Quantum of Solace to be specific. Yeah, I actually remember like 100% completing this game on the Xbox 360 on the hardest difficulty. No, I didn't have very many friends, how could you tell? There's decent enough shooting and set pieces, but oh my god. what the fuck is he doing? What does any of this have to do with the subject matter of the video, I hear you wondering? Well, it's important to highlight just how saturated this genre of games and its style of design had become by the year of our Lord 2012. So you really have to appreciate when a small little reboot of a fairly obscure military shooter IP was coming out, sandwiched between dozens of similarly designed and set-pieced games, people really didn't pay it much thought, and those that did, especially partially in thanks to the game's uninspiring marketing, they thought that they were delving into just another predictable slop fest. And then they crossed the line.
Gentlemen, welcome to Dubai.
Colonel John Conrad, United States Army. Evacuation of Dubai has been a complete failure. Death toll.
The original games in the Spec Ops series look like that. A janky series of dime a dozen third-person over-the-shoulder shooters, at one time even being an isometric shooter. Jesus Christ. From the late 90s to the early 2000s, developed by Zombie Studios, published by Ripcord Games and Take-Two Interactive. Their whole sales pitch was to shit out as many games as quickly as possible because, in their own words, military sim fans will literally buy whatever slop is being fed to them. To the surprise of no one, the Spec Ops series was quickly shit-canned and nothing came of it for nearly a decade. There was even a cancelled project that was supposed to revive the series, which Take-Two delegated to Rockstar Vancouver.
I ain't slipping, man. I'm slipped.
The history of this series is nothing short of a shit show, and Spec Ops The Line's development followed quite closely. In 2006, a small German studio named Jaeger Development pitched a Gears of War-like futuristic shooter to 2K. 2K promptly told them to shut the fuck up, but then the bigwigs at 2K made a counteroffer: reboot the Spec Ops series, which basically gave them a blank check to do whatever the hell they wanted to, just as long as the game sold well. Development began in 2007, the core principle of its development to be a critique of the portrayal of war in the modern age by other contemporary modern military shooters at the time, such as Call of Duty 4, which is a bit weird because COD 4 wasn't exactly shy on how it portrayed war. It's very fucking bleak and a very depressing game. Development churned on for quite some time, and in a rather bold move, Jaeger actually intended for players to enter Spec Ops The Line with an incredibly low expectation. And although the marketing was incredibly lackluster, practically non-existent, the game's initial reveals and announcement trailers are nothing if not unsettling. Like the reveal trailer, to the tune of the track Storm by Björk. What the fuck kind of name is Björk? That's the kind of noise I'd expect a demented dog to make. The viewer is greeted by striking visuals and a surreal atmosphere. The janky animations and lighting kind of reminds me of those old FMV animations from the late 90s. But in a good way, because even though what actually occurs in the trailer is nothing really to gawk at, there is something incredibly unsettling crawling beneath its skin. What little we do know of the early stages of the game come from these early trailers, since the game had a pretty consistent direction and overarching vision. A lot of details from the beta seem to have translated very well into the full release. But my god, they had a real hard-on for the piss brown filter here. The full release is actually way more colourful, but this early gameplay just looks like someone smeared a pile of shit over the screen. And while I love me some grungy late 2000s piss filter, Spec Ops The Line's art direction and colour design is probably the best I've seen from any game period, but I'll get into that later. Initial reviews of the games were positive, if not staggered. I haven't played it, but all of the reports regarding the game's multiplayer were that it was very obviously tacked on, and this is actually completely true. Jaeger initially intended for the game to be a purely single-player experience, with 2K forcing their hand at implementing a multiplayer in an attempt to emulate the successes of the games that Spec Ops was focusing its critiquing on. Call of Duty. Also, fun fact, Spec Ops The Line was actually completely banned in the UAE because of its depiction of Dubai as a war-torn, disaster-ravaged shithole, and all I can say that it's a shame that it's only fiction.
I'm over here stroking my dick. I got lotion on my dick right now. I'm just stroking my shit. I'm horny as fuck, man.
So let's get two very important things out the way. Yes, Spec Ops The Line was rug pulled from digital stores back in the January of 2024, pretty much because of the licenses on all the copyrighted tracks used in the game expiring by this time period. While I think it's awful that Spec Ops is no longer available on Steam or other digital storefronts, I do respect them for refusing to gut a significant portion of the game's soundtrack just to keep it up for sale. But then again, this probably wasn't even a consideration for them considering who owns the fucking IP. You'll find a lot of gameplay of Spec Ops The Line with its entire soundtrack muted or disabled, because apparently money is more important than artistic integrity. I am not going to do this.
Heil Hitler.
The licensed tracks used in the game are integral to the game's atmosphere and are instrumental to the game's narrative progression and world building, like how Jimi Hendrix guitar solo cover of America's national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner, wails out across the abandoned cityscape of storm-ravaged Dubai. Everything about this main menu goes so fucking hard. It's not bombastic or flashy, it's eerily quiet. A rendition of the US national anthem bouncing off the derelict skyscrapers, a sniper manning his post against the backdrop of a billowing American flag adorned upside down. For those of you who don't know, a flag flying upside down is a distress signal, so the tone is pretty much set right away. Something isn't quite right with this town. Since we're on the topic of the main menu, I should also point out that the menu itself actually changes depending on the stage of the game you're at. A little bit like Max Payne 3, which is a great detail, but again, if I go into too much detail, I'll spoil everything. So for now, don't worry about it. Oh, by the way, the sniper guy, he's affectionately been labeled as Joe.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was the
Second very important thing to address, why have I titled this video, You Don't Understand Spec Ops The Line? It's really quite simple, you fucking don't. I replayed Spec Ops for the first time in about 10 years on stream back in the summer, and I thought it was pretty great. But after I had acquired my newfound love of the game, I was beset upon by two sides. Contrarian chuddies who insisted the game was pretentious slop like their lives depended on it, and amateur map pack game theorists cooking up the most unhinged fan theories possible with as little evidence as Omar from down the corner shop told me so. So I'm here to set the record straight. Yes, it's a good game. No, it's not intentionally designed to be bad. And yes, you should all have your First Amendment rights revoked for saying that.
Can't shake this guy, Walker. Crazy, keep her steady. You out of your mind? Trust me.
Amazing. This opening truly lives up to the developer's initial vision, since my expectations have been flawed down beneath the fucking surface. This intro is very weird. It's just a typical on-rails turret section about 3/4 of the way through the game, with literally zero consequences for anything. All of the enemy helicopter deaths are completely scripted, and I am almost certain it is next to impossible, if not completely impossible, to die in this segment. And I say this having played this on the hardest difficulty, Foobar, a setting unlocked after completing the game on the second hardest difficulty. Although the intention is clearly multifaceted because, yes, this is supposed to dull your expectations while also fomenting intrigue in the player's mind, forcing them to ask what the hell is going on and what has the gang gotten themselves into now. And for better or worse, it achieves this very well. It's very annoying to play through when starting a new game, however, since it's like just 2 or 3 minutes of bare bones gameplay. You can literally pass it with ease while playing with one hand. No, not like that, you fucking degenerate. And it ends abruptly after another helicopter crashes into yours.
Is John Conrad the greatest man I ever served with?
I don't fucking know, mate. You tell me. You're the one telling the fucking story.
There was this one time in Kabul when he dragged my bleeding carcass half a mile to an evac chopper. So maybe I'm biased. But the facts don't lie. The man's a fucking hero. Remember when the first storms hit Dubai? You're probably all safe and sound at home watching TV. Well, Conrad was leading the damn 33rd out of Afghanistan. Instead of coming home, he volunteered his entire battalion to help with the evac. But all you did was send a check. Rumor is Conrad was ordered to abandon the city. He defied that order, and the 33rd stood with him. Now, the official story's still hazy about what happened next. All we know for sure is that the storms got worse. Much worse. Last thing we heard out of Dubai was that Conrad was leading a caravan of survivors out of the city. That was 6 months ago. Then, 2 weeks ago, we picked up this transmission.
Colonel John Conrad, United States Army. Evacuation of Dubai ended in complete failure. Death toll, too many.
Now this intro is actually fucking incredible. I let it play out in full just so you can appreciate the vibe it sets down and the implicit subtext beneath its surface level exposition. The narrator is the main protagonist, John Walker. Martin Walker. I don't know why, but I keep thinking his name is John, not Martin. The narrator is Martin Walker, a man who previously served under John Conrad, the latter of whom belayed an order to return home and instead occupied disaster-ravaged Dubai, the site of the worst sandstorm in recorded history. What interests me here more than anything is not just Walker's attitude towards Conrad, he clearly reveres him, holding into him almost godlike regard, but his attitude towards people outside the military lifestyle. It's almost like he looks down on people going about their day-to-day life while people like him and Conrad are out in the sandbox risking their lives for what they believe in. His monologue is laden with pride and a heightened sense of self, something which we will become very familiar with as the story progresses. So let's get down to brass tacks. You play as Captain Martin Walker, the leader of a three-man squad consisting of him, Sergeant Lugo, and Lieutenant Adams, 3 Tier 1 operatives of Delta Force. In case you don't know what Delta Force is, imagine a few hand-picked members of the US Army and Ranger Regiment trained to unlock fucking aimbots. They're sent in on a reconnaissance mission, scouting out Dubai after having received Conrad's distress signal, which you can actually hear fully unabridged the closer you get to the source.
Convoy stalled. Trapped in the storm. 18 clicks out of Dubai. Death toll. Too many. We are walking back.
This segment is actually very eerie. You can see what's left of Conrad's exodus. Cars, lorries, even rotting camels half buried beneath the sand on the road out of town. The occupants long dead, decaying to near skeletal forms. It sure is a good thing that this very heavy moment is lightened by some wonderful back and forth dialogue between Walker and his squad.
Well, for future reference, I prefer my beaches with a 3-to-1 sexy lady dead body ratio.
It does feel like we're being watched.
Failure.
Someone should see how sexy
Convoy
I am.
stalled.
We encounter the source of the radio broadcast, a makeshift outpost with an even more makeshift beacon transmitting the signal. Here we can see a layout of the highway, a map of Dubai, and notches etched beneath 2 categories, 33rd and civilian. The 33rd being the battalion of soldiers under Conrad's command. But what do these etches imply? Are they simply casualties from the storm, or are they indicative of something far more sinister? Unfortunately, we receive a very clear answer almost immediately after.
Oh, fuck. That's putting it lightly.
Body looks fresh.
It is. Even worse, he's 33rd.
Who did this?
Probably the same people been ghosting us.
That doesn't answer the question.
Don't worry. I think we're about to find out.
Now, 2 things.
You speak Farsi?
Farsi is not an official language of the UAE by any stretch of the imagination. The official language of the UAE is Arabic. However, as I previously mentioned, the Emirates, and Dubai in particular, imports a lot of foreign labor from Africa and the Indian subcontinent of Asia. Most of them are slaves, so it's not out of the question for a bunch of Iranian civilians being caught up in Dubai at the time of the storm. In fact, nearly all of the insurgents here speak English, which is basically a secondary common tongue in Dubai, so this is more or less completely believable. Secondly, you can clearly see these guys playing dead before this set piece, but they're sitting upright, not propped up against anything. Like, how long was this guy sitting there? Fucking hell, his back must be killing him. Of course, all hell breaks loose immediately. Let's talk about the combat. I actually really like it. No, it's not Max Payne 3 tier Kino, but the shooting is still very punchy. The weapons sound good, are distinct from one another, enemies react to getting shot quite viscerally, and the blood spatter effects are nothing if not a spectacle. Yes, this is a cover-based shooter, but it's not as mindless as you might think. The cover you choose and how you use it is just as important, if not more important, than just landing your shots. Peeling around the corner from a crouched position, for example, is way less likely to get your head blown off than if you were to, say, spring upwards out of cover like a target dummy. Naturally, guns aren't your only tools. Grenades are very liberally scattered throughout the game, the overhead arc showing you exactly where your grenade will land and allows you to bounce grenades off the walls with ease, opening up a wide array of opportunities for how you open up the enemy's defense. Moreover, just like in Max Payne 3, the weapons and equipment available to you change as you progress through the game. Like at first, these insurgents come at you armed with only micro Uzis and sawn-off Winchester shotguns, but eventually you start picking up AKs, SCARs, rocket launchers, etc. I can't go into too much detail right now because, again, it's integral to the game's progressive environmental storytelling, so I'll just yap about the squad mechanic for a bit. You can command your squad mates to attack or suppress enemy positions depending on the range, context of the engagement, and the target in question. The game will automatically decide for you all of these things, so as a result the squad mechanic is basically as simple as a single button push. But I like it. For what the game is, the pacing it's adhering to, and the style of gameplay it's trying to convey, its simplicity is its strength. It could be a lot worse, like it could be Arma 2's squad mechanic.
Oh my fucking god!
All move to that tree. Waiting.
3 is down.
What the fuck? First casualty of the war, he fell out of a fucking helicopter!
Lugo is your scout sniper, capable of picking off singular targets from afar, while Adams is the man with a plan, an M249, and a shitload of flashbangs. Again, the game decides which squad mate responds in what way depending on the context of the combat encounter, but this system is a massive boon for the player, especially on harder difficulties where showing even a millimeter of hair is likely to get your melon popped. Simple, but effective. Thumbs up from me. Oh, and also, this game has stealth segments, and by stealth I mean set pieces where you can tell your squad to execute enemies unaware of your presence with silenced weapons. I use stealth in very heavy air quotes because you're literally guaranteed to go loud once you pass the threshold of the game's scripting, but it does allow you to get the drop on enemies per every encounter, and you can actually do a lot with what as little's been given to you. Although with a few weapons that allow you to attach a suppressor, I don't actually know if they do anything besides, you know, letting you pop a few geezers quietly in these specific instances. I think they might slightly reduce recoil on your weapons, but then again, that might just be the placebo effect. This segment is basically a massive diegetic tutorial introducing you to all the game's core mechanics incrementally, and it does this reasonably well. It's not too invasive, and most of the visual and gameplay cues are quite organically implemented in this first chapter's level design. Again, I like it. It works.
Jesus Christ! Oh my fucking god!
Yeah, of course I wouldn't forget to mention the melee executions, something Doom 2016 would shamelessly rip off 4 years later. You can execute wounded or meleeed enemies with an extremely efficient use of force, offering the player an extra pool of ammunition for their current weapon, and overall encouraging a more aggressive playstyle. This works incredibly well, but good lord, no matter how efficient or otherwise clean these kills are, I can't help but feeling like killing someone in this way, instead of just popping them with a rifle, is just inherently unhinged. It's pretty clear from the get-go that Walker has some demons lingering from his prior service, most likely from his previous missions with Conrad in Kabul, Afghanistan all those years ago, something which he allegedly refuses to talk about according to the death screens. Cutting through the insurgents, Delta reaches a small contingent of US soldiers besieged by the locals. By the time they reach them, they're all fucking dead. But Delta traces the insurgents back to their base of operations where they presumably have a few American soldiers taken hostage. And it's here where things start to get weird.
Hey! You guys hear music? Who cares? Shut up and keep fighting!
Makeshift tannoys blaring Vietnam-era copyrighted tracks can be heard throughout the area. The song in question being played is Hush by Deep Purple, ironically a song about unrequited love, interspersed by foreboding messages from an unknown DJ.
It just in. An unwarranted assault on the 33rd today means, you guessed it, an end to the ceasefire. All insurgents wishing to surrender, please report to your nearest outpost for processing. We now return to our regularly scheduled broadcast. Here we go.
Let me go on record and say this shit just got weird.
By this point, Walker's squad is begging him to return to their FOB and radio command of their findings, but Walker, being the red, white, and blue-blooded American hero he is determined to follow the trail, unwilling to let American blood be spilled needlessly at the hands of these insurgents. And yes, it's abundantly clear that this is the insurgents' base of operation. There is fucking hundreds of them, swarming Delta's every move with amateur, albeit dug-in defenses, including mounted 50 cal machine gun emplacements that Walker can somehow flip a full 360 degrees to fire back on their original positions. I don't know how the fuck he does this, it just happens instantaneously. Also, here I discover that the AK of all guns has a 3-round burst option. Why? It's an AK. An AK doesn't have a 3-round burst option, and why the fuck would I ever switch to 3-round bursts? It sucks. What the Marines did to the M16A2 is fucking sacrilege, and I will die on that hill. Deeper into their infiltration of the hotel, Delta encounters, pause for effect, an evil American man?
Where's the soldier? The one we took from the plane?
Downstairs, sir.
Is he being guarded?
At all times.
Good. Think I'll go say hi.
Agent Castellan. Wait.
What?
He won't talk, sir.
He'll talk to me.
Why? Who knows? Who cares? You've got more refugees to murk. It's here where the game's environmental destruction comes into its own. You've got sand-slathered glass panes overhead, windows you can smash, and avalanches you can cause, eliminating vast swaths of insurgents without having to take them on head-on. The environmental destruction is highly contextual, but when it does show up, you bet your ass you'll want to take advantage. If you can't outright kill your enemies, you can at least temporarily blind them with the sand billowing into the air through sand plumes resulting from the explosions or gunfire. It's something you'll have to have a keen eye for to take advantage of effectively, but my god is it satisfying when you pull it off. Unfortunately, you have to move on to the next building through an incoming sandstorm, and I'm gonna be honest guys, these segments fucking suck. You can't see anything, naturally. You can't issue squad commands to your boys, and your weapon accuracy is completely shredded. Granted, these are very rare and don't last too long, but the limited sightlines and the fact that the AI can just mag dump you while seemingly unaffected by the sandstorm can lead to some really cheap deaths. Rappelling down an elevator shaft, Delta enters the belly of the beast. Turning the corner and seeing this artwork pasted against the wall all lit up like that kind of freaked me out when I first played this. It's seriously one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in a game. It appears to be a graffiti mock-up of Lady Liberty draped in the American flag, wielding an assault rifle and a skull in place of its face. It's very contradictory to the ideals that Lady Liberty supposedly represents, but maybe that's the point. This place is clearly a refugee hideout. Tents, rugs, candles lit everywhere. Children's drawings plastered over the walls depicting some horrific scenes. Armed men executing parents in front of their children. Demonic-looking helicopters decimating the population below. These armed men kidnapping people. It's made worse by the fact that this is clearly an interpretation of what's happening in Dubai from the perspective of a likely traumatized child who neither has the mental wherewithal or emotional maturity to truly understand what's happening. In child psychology, children tend to produce drawings relating to emotions or experiences that they can't put into words, so this is not something I expected to see upon revisiting the game, but good fucking god, it paints a very grim picture. I suppose now would be a good time to mention the intel logs, items of interest that you can find scattered across the game that give you more of an insight to the events in the background, as well as some audio logs recorded by Walker himself, the latter of which I want to touch on specifically because I think it's in this chapter where Walker discovers that the insurgents are using melted down silver jewelry, a commodity in Dubai, to produce more ammunition, even having this to say.
In old horror movies, they always use silver to kill the monster. Stakes, crosses, bullets, didn't matter. So long as it was silver. In Dubai, these hostiles are using silver bullets to kill soldiers. Guess that makes us monsters.
Then, deeper into the refugee camp, Walker discovers a child's doll, which leads him to an incredibly unnerving realization.
Diamond earrings for eyes, silk for a dress. This was made after the storm wall fell. That means children, families. We're starting to wonder about our enemy. We're not that far from Conrad's failed evac. Could these be the survivors? Are we killing the people we came here to save?
But before this video gets too depressing, War Thunder! Do you want to feel like a hero? Well, now you can with War Thunder, gaming's most expansive, comprehensive, immersive vehicle simulator, available for free on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation consoles, and even mobile devices. Lay waste to the enemy with over 2,500 combat vehicles, ranging from tanks, fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and monstrous naval battleships, belonging to the militaries of 10 major nations across the globe. From historical rudimentary fighting vehicles from the 1920s to high-tech machine-tuned behemoths of the modern era, engage in intense and dynamic combat ops against 95 million other players in highly replayable PvP arenas, where strategy, a keen eye, and the heart of a warrior is what it takes to ensure the ultimate victory. You don't need a NASA supercomputer to run War Thunder. War Thunder is attuned to lower-end PCs and allows you to play with anything from keyboard and mouse or a controller. So don't worry, you don't need to throw in with the Royal Tank Regiment for 4 years in order to know how to play the game. You can marvel at War Thunder's incredibly detailed graphics and raw, powerful sound design, no matter your hardware or its respective budget bracket. Best of all, you can customize any and all of your machines to your heart's content. Any vehicle, air, land, or naval, from camouflage to personal liveries, only your imagination is the limit. And yes, all of this is for free. Free to play and download right this instant on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile platforms, using the links in the description. War Thunder generously offers new and returning players that haven't played for 6 months on PC and consoles to receive a fat stash of goodies, including 7 days of a premium account, the Eagle of Valor decorator, and 100,000 silver lions in in-game currency. Yes, for free, but only for a limited time, so please don't squander this opportunity. Seize the moment, you won't regret it. War Thunder! Eventually, we catch up with Agent Castovin, an American seemingly commanding the insurgents and a prisoner he's interrogating. Oh my, I wonder what we can learn from him here, what twists and turns, and what evil motivations he has for... Oh.
Lower your weapon.
I look stupid to you?
No. That's why you're gonna point that pistol somewhere else.
Lower your weapon. I'll lower mine.
Not gonna happen.
You got a name?
McPherson, First Lieutenant. You?
Walker, Captain. We found your friend at the plane. He told us where to find you.
Really? Where's he at?
He didn't make it.
Why am I not surprised?
So what? You think we killed him?
I didn't say that.
You're not saying much of anything, Lieutenant.
Article 4, Captain. You gotta speak to my commander.
Well, where's he at?
By now, I'd imagine he's just downstairs.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Why don't you wait here? I'll go get him.
Check the body.
So believe it or not, if you really wanted to, you can actually pop this guy. This is the first of many choices presented to the player, and I doubt most people would even think to shoot him, and naturally your squad thinks you're a complete psycho for doing it.
He was a soldier. One of us.
He killed that guy. Probably would have killed us too. He couldn't take the chance.
That's a fucked up way of looking at it.
Yeah, Walker. This is bad.
Trust me, I know.
Down below, you discover what appears to be a CIA ops room, confirming that Agent Castovin was indeed CIA. Interestingly enough, however, if you don't shoot this soldier up above, you will immediately get ambushed by him and his buddies not even a few seconds later.
There they are! Take them out! Got eyes on the target!
So, strangely, killing him has more immediate rewards than sparing him and letting him info dump on you. But regardless of your choice, you're gonna have to engage his buddies eventually.
Shit! Return fire!
But they're soldiers!
They will kill us if we don't! Now open fire!
Yep, you're shooting American soldiers now. You can hear from their dialogue that they think Walker and his squad is working with the CIA.
God damn it, we are not CIA!
and they're left with no other options than to defend themselves. Interestingly, however, the soldiers are very poorly equipped. Most of them lack helmets, using instead a variety of boonie hats or field caps, and have clearly salvaged or looted second-hand webbings and weapons equipped on their persons. Whatever's going on with these guys, it's clear that their situation is as desperate as the insurgents, but they'll quite happily add you to their tally marks if you let them. Only moments later, we enter into one of the most awesome firefights in the game, with Delta tearing down through the atrium, battling the remnants of the 33rd in an attempt to reach the captured civilians down below, with the track Bad Vibrations by the Black Angels ringing in your ears from the previously mentioned loudspeakers. Bad Vibrations is particularly interesting, as it's sung from the perspective of someone trapped in a toxic relationship. Even more ironic considering the radio man's message to the civilians captured by the 33rd.
I know there's a lot of you asking the same question right now. Why? Well, I'd like to ask you the same thing. There was no reason for any of this. We made a truce. You broke it. We gave you a chance to surrender, and you ignored it. Why? Why would you do that? You chose this, not us.
After the smoke clears, the civilians emerge and essentially shoo Delta away.
What are they saying now?
These people want us gone.
We should get out of here. Leave these people to grieve.
Yeah, I think that's the least we can do. Come on.
Act 2 begins with Delta reeling themselves in, trying to process what they experienced earlier that morning.
Want to share your thoughts with the rest of us?
Well, from what we've heard, I'm starting to think the 33rd went to war against itself. Whichever side won, seems they decided to stay here and take over Dubai.
Sounds like a mess.
That's a bit of a stretch. I'm not exactly sure how he comes to this conclusion, but funnily enough, this is actually what the multiplayer portion of the game is about. A civil war between members of the 33rd Battalion splitting into two factions, the Damned, who control Dubai, and the Exiles rebelling against them. Although I'm pretty sure we can conclusively say that the entire multiplayer is completely non-canon, but I'm not the only one who really likes it when multiplayer modes tie themselves into the game's story, am I? It's really fucking cool. I like it. Delta's new objective is to link up with the CIA and attempt to ascertain answers as to what else is going on and where the hell is Conrad. Their only lead is...
Follow me.
I'll have what she's having.
This segment is easily one of my favorites in the entire game. The environment is so uncanny. You're crawling down skyscrapers, ziplining from building to building, while gargantuan walls of sand surround your every step. It's also here where the game's arsenal really opens up. You have flashbangs now.
Oh, Jesus! Oh! Who's that? Oh, was this manganese? I think I just got flashback.
Very useful for getting the drop on enemies who are too spread out for grenades, as well as a personal favorite of mine, the M249 machine gun. With a magazine capacity like this, reloading enters the realm of Greek mythology. You can just pick motherfuckers off one by one with zero interruptions. It's great. You also get to play around with snipers. Yeah, I don't like it. The sensitivity when aiming down a scope is incredibly weird, and it's only a one-shot kill if you tag your enemies with headshots. Not a good combo. Just use it in these specific instances when you're out of range and then drop it for something more versatile immediately. You're also introduced to specialist London chavvies who attempt to sprint up to you and give you a good hard shanking. Luckily, they're not too much of a threat, though they will one-tap you if they get too close, but you can keep them at bay relatively easily. It's more jarring from a story perspective, as it's showing the collective psyche of these remnants, as well as their supplies have dwindled so much to the point that these are the tactics they come up with. Pushing through to another level, walk around the... Oh, nice. Unreal Engine 3, everyone. Yeah, this kind of shit happens a lot, especially on newer systems. I'd say it's because the game hasn't been touched up or optimized for nearly a decade, but at the same time, it's the Unreal Engine. The last stable build of this fucking thing was in its prototype stage in 1995. Walker and the gang managed to get back on the ground by... Yeah, that would probably kill you. Yeah, that would also probably kill you. Yeah, this would... No way. There is no way. There is no way. There is no way. There is no fucking way. What the fuck? That would snap his fucking back in half! The next chapter is kind of, you know, it's not too much to talk about. You have to defend yourself with nothing but a desert eagle for a bit until your squad rescues you. It's alright, but... Where the fuck did he get the Desert Eagle?
You really don't want to know.
Then you get to a turret section. Again, it's fine, not really in that much danger. The shooting is still fine, although this segment is very fucking ugly to look at, and it doesn't really do or introduce anything particularly cool, unlike any of the previous chapters. The sticky bombs are pretty cool, though. You can lob it at these fuckers, and if it sticks to them, they'll panic and run straight into their own bodies. It's kinda hilarious, but also kinda grim at the same time. Speaking of grim...
Oh my fucking god. Jesus, so many bodies.
There are hundreds of corpses down here. The remnants have been killing people on an industrial scale. There's so many of them. So many of their features blurring together that you can't even tell who they are. Are they insurgents? Exiles? Civilians? More than likely, it's all of the above, as a bunch of troopers are left on display, tied to chairs and mutilated and murdered.
They turned on each other. You were right, Walker. I sure wish I wasn't.
Look at how this has been lit. Someone wanted us to see this. In fact, I can remember the child's drawings and another massacre lit and shot as though center stage, like it was placed here for us specifically to see. I mean, of course they want you to see it. They're the fucking game devs. But the particularness of the lighting is just odd, in my opinion, in a good uncanny valley sort of way. Delta reaches the source of the signal.
This is Daniels. He's been dead a long time.
We've been set up.
What the hell's going on, Lugo?
No fucking clue.
Whoa, feedback.
Identify yourself.
Me? Who the hell are you?
Captain, go fuck yourself.
Well now, Captain. This little trap was meant for a fox named Gould. But you ain't Gould. In fact, I don't know who you are. No one does. And that's dangerous.
Dangerous to who?
Everyone.
I mean, come on. You didn't actually think we'd just let you walk in here, did you?
Yeah, we did. We're looking for survivors.
Well, you found some. It's a bitch, ain't it?
Move in, boys!
With the help of a CIA agent named Gould, Delta escapes the 33rd's ambush, even amidst a little bird's gun run.
How's it look, Lugo?
You can walk, but it's gonna hurt. You want morphine?
Nah. I wanna keep my head clear.
Okay, and hold still. Almost done here.
What are you thinking, Walker?
think we landed in the middle of a fucking war zone.
It's impressive, seeing as the city was supposed to be uninhabited.
Exactly.
Maybe it's time we got out of here. Call in the evac team.
We got 8 miles of open desert between us and the storm wall. Healers would cut us down before we took 10 steps. Our only option now is to reconnect with Gould.
You sure you want to cast our lot with the CIA?
We have no choice. You've seen what's become of the 33rd.
Captain's right. The damned are out of control. Someone's got to stop them.
I know. But can we trust him?
Gould risks his life to save ours. He's earned my trust.
What about Conrad?
This isn't just about finding Conrad anymore. It's about doing what's right. Now, Adams, do the honors.
Whatever you say.
It's genuinely impressive how symbiotic the relationship between Walker and the player is. While the player is the one controlling Walker's actions, Walker is the one motivating not just his squad, but the player to move forwards. Walker is the one giving context cues to his squad and the player, even directing their attention towards overarching objectives such as finding Conrad.
So what do we do?
If we're gonna sort this out, we need to find John Conrad.
How's that help? You just said the 33rd were rogue.
Conrad wouldn't abandon his duty. The 33rd may be hostile, but I guarantee the Colonel isn't part of it.
How can you be sure?
Because I know the man. Now get that open.
Which are more or less objectives exclusive to himself, and the player follows along with everything he says. We believe that we have to do the right thing and stop the 33rd from committing their atrocities, and to find Conrad because that's what Walker wants. Walker is the only one with any real autonomy in this story. We're just the ones steering him towards his desired path. I'm not sure if there's any other game that has been able to present the player-protagonist relationship in this way, but how Spec Ops The Line does it, it's genuinely fucking amazing. Also, fun fact, considering his name is Walker, I initially thought he was named this because, you know, he was the one walking the line. No, apparently the developers named this because he walks a lot. Amidst an insurgent uprising against the 33rd, Walker and the gang have to make their way towards Gould's position. Easier said than done because dozens of remnant goons are swarming their position. But that's okay, we've got more weapons to play around with, including a scoped semi-auto
417
rifle. Again, the sensitivity on scoped weapons is very weird, but it's not as bad for this gun as it's nowhere near the same level as magnification as a sniper rifle, and it's especially good for landing headshots, and my god is it satisfying when you do so. It's here where the difficulty gets a bit weird, like it's doable if you know what you're doing and where everything is, but if not, well, I can see why they locked Fubar behind the suicide mission difficulty now. And here we're introduced to our good old friend Willie Pete. The remnants are using white phosphorus against the insurgents. White phosphorus is a highly flammable chemical weapon that ignites upon contact with the air. It is completely and utterly toxic, causing severe necrosis of the jaw and even rotting the liver from the inside out. And that's not even mentioning the burn damage on the skin. Death can be instantaneous, or in more unfortunate cases, can take up to weeks for the victim to expire. It is a horrific way to kill someone, and knowing this, the 33rd are using it to send a message to the insurgents. Rebel against us, and this is the fate you'll share with the rest of them. And emerging through the smoke, we are quickly introduced to... oh my god, it's a motherfucking bulldozer! Yeah, this game has heavy enemy types. Yes, it's incredibly goofy, and yes, I can completely ignore this because of my suspension of disbelief. No, there's no way the 33rd would have a legion of 8-foot-tall juggernauts in bomb suits with machine guns on standby ready to fuck up any motherfuckers who cross them, but who cares? They're an interesting wrench in the cog of a typical combat encounter. They're not too obtrusive, but their presence is just enough of an oh shit to change up your strategy and how you engage any given combat encounter. The gang catch up with Gould.
Begin.
Fuck it! I'm taking the shot. Wait for your orders, Sergeant.
What you just witnessed there was a torture method called sandboarding. It's pretty self-explanatory. Mag dumping a rifle by someone's face buried in the sand, the deafening noise caused by the gunfire, the hot sand kicking into the air, not to mention the muzzle flashes and resulting gases pushing out of the barrel. The victim literally can't breathe. It's said to be one of the most psychologically crippling methods of torture devised in the modern era, but they weren't doing it to extract any information.
You, take care of the rest of them.
It's just occurred to me that this video's gotten really fucking dark in the past 8 minutes. I'm so sorry, but it's gonna get a lot worse. Once again, you're presented with two options. Take the troopers head on in an attempt to save Gould, which results in you having to run another gauntlet of remnant goons, or you can sneak around the AO, sacrificing Gould but managing to spare the lives of two civilians the remnants were preparing to execute. Good job, Walker. You're a real American hero. If you're playing this on the hardest difficulty, I definitely recommend doing the stealth option. The decision itself doesn't actually change anything. Gould dies anyway, no matter what you choose, and at least in the stealth option you can avoid having to kill another 50 million angry goons out in the open. Meanwhile, Delta is starting to feel the strain.
Putting your faith in Gould, you are fucking clueless. Man, I'm through with this shit.
Fuck you! At least I'm doing my job! You're the one who's fine, just sitting back, waiting for things to unfuck themselves!
You think I like watching these people die, huh? You think I won't carry this shit to my fucking grave?
Stand down! Both of you! Stand the fuck down! The fuck is wrong with you two? We're in the middle of a fucking war zone, and you're fighting in the dirt like a couple of goddamn kids! You are Delta operators. Fucking act like it!
The acting here is absolutely phenomenal, and the shaky camera movements constantly darting between the three in the exchange really adds to the angst and emotional volatility shared among the group. Adams and Lugo would rather be literally anywhere else right now, but they're knee-deep in it with Walker, who, once again, is determined on a set path and aggressively motivates them to move forward. Also, look how much blood they're covered in, all those bruises and bandages and their torn-up uniforms. Spec Ops: The Line is one of those games where the further through the game you progress, the more fucked up our main characters start to look from the constant fighting. They're starting to shed their civilized, well-groomed veneers, starting to break down into husks of the men they were before they came to Dubai.
I'd say that's the gate.
Yep, that's the gate. From what I can understand, the gate is essentially an inner perimeter exclusively under the 33rd's control, with the insurgents and many refugees essentially living on the borderlands. Likewise, it is fucking swarming with remnants. Luckily for us, Walker has a plan.
The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea.
Problem is, it's white phosphorus.
You're fucking kidding, right? That's white phosphorus.
Yes, Lugo, it is white phosphorus. It's super effective. Not gonna lie, I thought I was tripping the fuck out when I first played this because I saw some shit moving on the screen. Turns out that's actually Walker's reflection. Yeah, I thought it was funny at first, but in hindsight, this is incredibly chilling. This segment works for much the same reasons the Modern Warfare AC-130 mission does. Your targets are all just white dots on the screen. You can't see them as human, they're just targets for you to snuff out. And this, combined with Walker's reflection in the screen, is incredibly dark, adding a lot of intimacy from an otherwise intentionally disconnected scene, and it makes the contrast between the thermal imaging and the scene on the ground all the more haunting.
I'm trapped. I can't feel my leg.
The soundscape is filled with the sounds of burning debris, the dead and the dying wailing out for help. If it makes you feel any better, you can execute these wounded soldiers, putting them out of their misery, but they're basically dead anyway. If the burns and missing limbs don't kill them, the toxic smoke they're breathing eventually will. But they're not the only ones.
What? Oh no.
Are those civilians?
Where'd they come from? There's no camp here.
They took them from the nest.
That hotel back at the storm wall? No, no, those can't be the civvies that got kidnapped. It's not possible.
Yeah, it is. That's why Gould stormed this place. He didn't want the gate.
He was trying to rescue his people. This is your fault, goddammit! Stop right there, Lugo. What it is, you wouldn't wish to have a choice. He turned us into fucking killers. Enough, Sergeant. No, don't yourself. No.
We need to keep moving.
What?
Reinforcements will be here any second. We need to keep moving.
But Walker, you're not even...
I'm gonna make these bastards pay for what they've done. Now, are you with me or not?
Yeah, there's a reason this is the most iconic scene from the game. It's fucking traumatic if you're going into this for the first time not knowing about it. Although that's next to impossible nowadays since everyone knows about it. Hell, I'm talking about it right now, am I?
But Nosy, you weren't given any choice. It's a scripted sequence necessary for the plot to move forward. The illusion of choice is pretentious and trying to make you feel bad. And you're a retard if you liked it.
Shut the fuck up. You're not even supposed to know about this going into the game blind, but on subsequent playthroughs you have to understand that this was Walker's decision that got these people killed, not the players, not the squads, Walker's. The player is following along with Walker's commands and actions just as much as the rest of Delta is. This is Walker's story, and we're following him as he crosses the line and descends deeper into the heart of darkness. As you can guess, the remnants are not very happy with him. They were actually trying to evacuate the civilians past the gate to get them clear of the war zone, and now they're out for blood, yours specifically. We enter into possibly the shortest chapter in the entire game after having passed through the gate, with the gang coming upon a startling revelation.
Phosphorus. I swear if I never see this shit again, it'll be too soon.
Conrad's command team has been executed using white phosphorus, but that's not all.
I knew these men. Listen.
No better than I did, I promise you that.
He knows we're here.
I could not inspire them. They let a mutiny. Foolish in a place like this. I don't blame them. They did what they thought necessary. But if order was to be maintained, an example had to be made.
Oh my god, wait, what? No, wait, Conrad's a bad guy? I already made this fucking joke.
What's going on here?
Survival, Captain. Plain and simple. Everything is teetering on the edge of everything. But this you already know.
Conrad reveals himself to Walker as being the man behind everything that's been happening in Dubai, ruling as its de facto warlord to maintain order, and presents Walker with his next choice: two people hanging from ropes. Walker must execute one or the other. Or you could just ignore it, but that really doesn't go down well. Or you could just murk the snipers overlooking your position. Again, I'm saying this a lot, this doesn't actually affect anything, although it is funny listening to Conrad chimp out if you ignore his requests. Ambush! Naturally, the remnants have been expecting you and light you up almost immediately. And here you find a FAMAS? Yeah, it's alright, I guess. The ACOG scope attached to it can be useful, but it's very contextual, like the 417. Not sure what a French gun is doing here, but it's not out of the question for another coalition government, such as the French, being involved in peacekeeping and relief activities when the sandstorms first hit. Speaking of sandstorms, we got another sandstorm segment. Once again, it doesn't last too long, even if it is really fucking annoying to grind through, and the sequence ends with Delta finding shelter. That fucking rhymes, I'm a poet. And being forced to wait out the rest of the storm.
I know you're listening, Colonel, so hear this. This war is over. Dubai will be evacuated, and you will be relieved of your command.
When Delta emerge, it is now nighttime. Nothing like a nice quick nap after committing some atrocities. Something interesting you begin noticing from this point onwards? Billboards and various artwork painted on the walls actually change depending on the decisions Walker makes. This is something I didn't even notice until literally right now. The art is incredibly out of place, it doesn't fit with the rest of Dubai whatsoever, and it doesn't feel like anyone in their right minds, given the circumstances, would take the time, effort and resources required to erect these pieces. That or someone in Dubai really does think he's Banksy. Dubai is almost starting to feel like Silent Hill in a way. The deeper Walker gets to the source, the closer he gets to discovering the truth, and the more he deludes himself as the world crumbles around him. Yes, this is Silent Hill if it were Call of Duty. The remnants are pretty much hitting you with everything they've got now. Flashbangs, choke points, heavies and runners trying to bum rush you, and for good reason. They're out for vengeance against Walker for what he did at the gate, and moreover, the insurgents, led by CIA agent Riggs, are leading an assault on the 33rd's water depot at the Aquarium. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, okay, alright, yeah, thanks game. Enter Zulu Squad. These guys are fucking vicious. They're faster, more aggressive, and hardier than anyone else you've faced thus far. Their faces adorned with white face paint, made to resemble skulls. They are the only enemy in the entire game who drop the P90 SMG, which is arguably the best SMG in the game. SMGs occupy a weird niche in this game. They have a shit range and don't have the best accuracy, but you can fire from the hip while on the move with the same accuracy as if you were aiming down the sights. Now, considering the difficulty, considering the setting, you're probably not going to get much mileage out of World War I era walking fire tactics, but this can be incredibly useful in a pinch. But I'll tell you what you don't need to aim with: the motherfucking A12 automatic shotgun. Now this is a gun, packed with a 20-round drum magazine with fucking frag rounds. There's no such thing as a defensive perimeter with this thing. It is easily the most powerful gun in the game, tearing down your foes in the dozens with ease. Only held back by how limited his ammo pool is and how rare it is. But when you do get to use it, my god, you are unstoppable. Delta and Riggs finally reach the water containers and begin their daring heist through an on-rails turret segment. Okay. I've nothing against on-rails segments like these. Like, hey, you get a grenade launcher, I like that. But it's one of those really rigidly designed segments where you have to dispatch specific enemies in a specific order at specific times in order to not get immediately squad wiped. But like the sandstorm sections, although it is incredibly weak, it doesn't last all that long.
Sorry, boys, but they ain't getting this water back. No matter the cost. He's crashing the trucks! Where'd you son of a
this city will begin dying of thirst. Just like Riggs wanted. This is your fault, Walker. You did this, not me.
So, two things. What the fuck's he doing here? Is he out here having a smoke break or something? Second of all, let's talk about Riggs and the CIA. It's heavily implied that they were sent into Dubai way before Delta even received Conrad's distress signal, likely having witnessed the same or similar atrocities we have, alone and isolated from all except the insurgents. Riggs came up with a plan.
We're just gonna kill them!
Yep, literally. Not making this up. Kill everyone in Dubai. Why?
If people find out what he did, the whole region will declare war on us, and we'll lose.
What?
What the fuck?
I don't think you'd get into the CIA with logic deduction like that, mate. You mean to tell me that because a bunch of rogue troopers deserted their posts, hunkered down in a disaster-ravaged shithole and started racking up war crimes like their arcade tokens, everyone in the Middle East would go to war with the United States? And you mean to tell me that they're going to win? Yeah, okay, buddy, yeah, whatever you say. Regardless of how weak his reasoning is, he's clearly insane with possible delusions of grandeur, and he's not the only one, as on his desk back in his headquarters can be found a psychological profile of one John Conrad.
Psychoanalysis indicates that John Conrad may be suffering from early-stage post-traumatic stress disorder resulting from failed operations in the Afghan conflict. In an individual as accomplished as Conrad, PTSD could manifest as a pronounced tendency towards egomania and calcification of moral certitude. More concerning is the way in which Conrad has been lauded as the greatest military leader since Patton. Conrad has internalized these sentiments, and they may now constitute a crucial component of his psyche. It is believed that as Conrad comes under fire for failures in Afghanistan, he will likely go to extreme lengths to internally fortify belief in his reputation. Conrad will begin looking outward to explain his failures, while nursing a growing paranoia toward his superiors.
Huh. I wonder who else that reminds us of. Even in spite of Riggs' scathing analysis of Conrad's mental well-being, Conrad can be heard talking in Walker's ear, foreshadowing things to come, almost serving as his voice of reason.
Think about who you're helping, Captain. Without water, everyone in this city will die. Your men included. Riggs isn't looking to save anyone. He's here to bury the truth, along with the bodies.
The thing is, he's completely right. In fact, anyone could have seen this coming. So why didn't Walker? Well, maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it doesn't really matter anyway. It wasn't his fault to begin with, right? This next chapter at the mall, I don't have too much to touch on. The premise is that Walker and his squad are separated on opposite sides of the mall and have to take turns covering each other as they try to regroup, finalized by a highly destructive turret section as you attempt to cover your guys' advance. It's pretty good. It's also pretty funny because this can happen.
What the hell, Walker? I told you to move!
What there is to talk about here, however, is that every step of the way, Delta are being hounded by the Radio Man, clearly personally devastated over the loss of the city's water supply, and now personally directing the remnants' relentless pursuit of Delta.
Go fuck yourself.
Whoa, let's keep it clean, buddy. This is, after all, a family program. Rated E. For everyone thirsty. No, fuck you. You have no fucking idea what that man had to do. And I do mean, had to do.
He had a choice, just like everyone else.
You're one to talk. Remember the game, son? Oh, what's that smell? I do believe it's burnt baby.
I get my hands on you, you're a fucking dead man!
Let's see you try, sunshine.
Keen on delivering their promises, they're directed towards the Trans Emirates building by a surrendering remnant. And let's just take a moment to appreciate how fucking unhinged Walker is by this point.
Staff Sergeant Josh Forbes, service number 867530.
You are not a prisoner of war. Far as I'm concerned, you're not even a fucking soldier.
You can't.
I can do whatever the fuck I want.
He feels like a completely different person by this point. In fact, the entire game feels like a completely different story as to how it initially started, which is of course why I find this game so replayable. The constant shifting in set pieces, tone, and storytelling constantly keep the player on their toes, and watching Walker's descent into madness is certifiable kino. The next chapter begins with Delta infiltrating the Trans Emirates building. Yeah, you know how this dance goes. A million dead and Walker tripping the fuck out.
Walker! What are you doing? Damn it, Walker! No!
Jesus. What the fuck did you do, Walker?
Hey, you caught me off guard.
What does this even mean? Does he have any reason to distrust Adams, or has his PTSD-induced paranoia finally got to him? Whatever the case, what I want to focus on for this chapter is the Radio Man.
Hey, guys. like that's a real guy. I mean, come on.
The Radio Man is identified as one Robert Darden, which is interesting because it kind of reminds me of two characters from the movie Fight Club, Robert Paulson and Tyler Durden.
His name is Robert Paulson. His name is Robert Paulson. This is all the way. His name is Robert Paulson.
But I'm sure that's just a coincidence, their names don't even line up. Robert Darden was a journalist who once was embedded with the 33rd in Afghanistan, trapped in Dubai at the time of the storm. Many of his audio logs detailing his experiences in Dubai, and even him uncovering the truth that the Emirati government knew that the sandstorm was coming and attempted to cover it up ahead of their evacuation.
What I want is you, man, on record, telling me about the genocide you and your friends are trying to keep hidden from the rest of the world. Yeah.
Agnes, you have no idea what you are saying. Get him out of here.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll tell you what I know. I know the truth, man, and the truth is where it's at. I know every expat and fat cat Emirati hightailed it out of Dubai on permanent vacation 2 days before your office shit-canned a news piece about the storms. Yeah.
There's even a little interview he does with Conrad, who is audibly emotionally distraught, and it even sheds some light as to why Conrad trusted Darden so much, and how he came to such a prestigious position within the 33rd.
You're not recording this, are you?
What? No. No, of course not.
Good. I don't want... People need to hear my words, not my voice.
I totally understand.
Yes, I think you do. You've been a friend these past months. It has been helpful having someone who just listens.
That's very nice of you to say, sir.
Robert Darden essentially elected himself as the 33rd's radio host and is the one responsible for rigging up all the audio systems scattered around Dubai. You can even infer that he's the one responsible for the Star-Spangled Banner blaring out across the city in the main menu. I imagine for the troops' morale and to remind them of home and possibly what they're fighting for. He clearly believes in Conrad's mission, and likewise the 33rd believe in him. His quarters are nothing short of luxury: food, lighting, CCTV footage of every inch of Dubai, and a radio station reaching out to every part of the city itself. Darden is possibly even more powerful than Conrad himself, and his irreverent sardonic persona clearly belies some inner demons he locks within himself. Like, he's not completely insane, he's just putting up a front to keep him from going completely cuckoo crazy, and I'm also fucking digging that Far Cry 1 Hawaiian shirt. Godspeed, you magnificent bastard.
Man, have you lost your fucking mind?
Are you really this fucking naive? He kept the 33rd on our ass this whole time. He wasn't gonna let us just walk out of here. I did what was necessary.
You don't get to make that call.
Well, fuck you. I just did.
That's enough. We'll deal with this later. To anyone who can hear me, I'm the commander of an American evacuation force. We're here to rescue you. But first, the 33rd will pay for what they've done.
I'm disappointed in you, Walker. No one leaves Dubai. I tried. 1,300 men, women, children dead because of my arrogance. And now you want to finish off the rest? If you will not learn from my mistakes, then there's nothing more I can do. Your butcher's bill is high enough. Goodbye, Captain.
Fuck! Take cover!
So much for the evacuation.
What now?
Oh, I'll tell you what now, laddie.
Wait, this isn't right!
Well, it's too late now!
No, I mean, we did this already!
What do you mean?
Ah, fuck it! It's nothing! Just shake these fucking guys!
So just for clarification, I was going to do a gag here where I just replayed the entire segment from the intro sequence of the game, add some funny little goofs and shit, like, I don't know, spiders crawling up the screen, but no, I'm not that fucking evil. It certainly was a bold choice to have Walker remembering the intro and experiencing some killer deja vu because of it. Now, no, this doesn't mean he's literally done it before. This is just one of the game's many fourth wall breaks to try and put the player on edge, a bit like the death screens. The info and tips given to you at the beginning of the game in the death or loading screens is just, you know, typical shooter stuff. Press left click to shoot enemy, win game, shit like that. But of course, the deeper into Dubai you get, the hints start to become more hostile, even breaking the fourth wall entirely, in some cases seemingly addressing the player. Now, this is one of the more controversial parts of the game's storytelling, of course. As a smart gamer, you don't like being labeled as a war criminal for playing a video game, and gaslit into believing you're personally responsible for the deaths of hundreds of pixels on your screen through following a linear story. Some might even feel personally insulted or attacked. But that's kind of the point. Like, the devs are just fucking rage baiting you. They literally said so themselves. Anyway, what the fuck ever. Helicopter crash. Walker falls out of the helicopter and somehow ends up in... Right, so I'm about to butt heads with the lead writer of the game right now. It was lead writer Walt Williams' intentions, read intentions, to imply that the only time that you play as Walker alive is in that opening turret segment. With the helicopter crash he alleges being what kills him, and that the rest of the game is just him essentially in hell reliving the events of the previous 2 days as he awaits judgment. I don't like this theory. Oh, absolutely, Walker is delving into a hell of his own making, but the hell? Nah, man, that's a little too on the nose, especially considering this is coming from the guy who claims that whenever a cutscene transition fades to white instead of black, it implies that Walker is hallucinating, which is not how that fucking happens at all. Here's a white scene transition from when he enters Dubai. Here's one when he's talking to a wounded trooper that leads him to the nest. Here's the one right before he cooks a bunch of fucking civilians alive. So what, was he just making all that shit up? Did he not do any of these things? Is this game all in the head? Also, spoilers, I can't say too much right now, but there are also fade to black transitions in scenes where Walker is clearly tripping the fuck out. So whether or not this was his intention, in practicality, this does not even apply whatsoever, so the whole hell theory thing is pretty much open to your own personal interpretation. Actually, the only times the fade to white precedes a clear break in the status quo is occasionally in these last 2 levels, you'll witness these eerie fucking visions against the white backdrop, which fade away as Walker regains consciousness from being killed, visibly recoiling from the delirium. Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool, if only it was applied more consistently. I will say that these final chapters are absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at this, man. This is nothing if not apocalyptic. The atmosphere here is so strong, and what should otherwise be warm lighting casting over the final hour of the game as the sun sets on the story, it just draws out the color of the sand and the blood slathered over Walker. A thing of natural beauty only serving to highlight the grim brutality of this war. Seriously, for such a gritty game, there's so much color, thanks in part to the Dubai setting, as well as the insanely good art and color direction. Everything just fits. It's such a treat to look at, especially for a 2012 game. I love it so much. Of course, this being the final hour, this is easily the hardest part of the game. You're 1 man down. Lugo is wounded and MIA. Zulu troopers fall in with the remaining remnants, and they're throwing the best, or rather last, men and equipment they have at their disposal, desperately trying to keep you from reaching Conrad. It's genuinely grueling carving through this chapter, but it never feels unfair, and it feels overwhelmingly cathartic overcoming the insane odds pitted against you. And come on, bruv, you really think I wouldn't talk about the dialogue and execution changes? Dumbass. So, fun fact, all 3 of the main voice actors of Delta recorded their lines in one sitting over the course of roughly half a day. You can really fucking tell because in the beginning, like their appearances, they're prim, proper, and professional.
Concentrate fire!
Got it! Taking him out! Down!
While by the end of the game, they are all audibly exhausted.
Kill that fucking sniper!
Okay! Drop him!
Copy, I'll take him out.
Nolan North's performance is especially powerful. Like, there's a reason this guy thinks Walker is one of his finest roles. Like before the white phosphorus incident, he's calm, surgical, and professional.
Enemy down!
But afterwards, this heightened aggression and raw venom can be seen in different ways he executes people. From cleanly crushing someone's windpipe or a clean shot to the head, he starts maiming people before blowing their heads off, bashing their faces in with his rifle, snapping their necks, all the while screaming like a complete lunatic. Like, dude, if Walker wasn't already fucked up at the beginning of the story, he sure as shit is now. Walker and Adams regroup with Lugo, or what's left of him.
Damn it, Lugo! You better fucking pray he makes it. Let me take him, Walker. Sir, permission to open fire. I need you to give the word. Damn it. Walker, give me the fucking word.
Take him down.
Yes, sir.
Oh my fucking god.
He is the greatest Israeli soldier.
So I'm surprised that quite a lot of people don't actually know this, but you can spare these civilians by firing up into the air.
Go! While you still can. Fucking animals, get the fuck out of here! Run! Faster!
But what's the point? Their water supply is gone and the communications array has been destroyed. They've got nothing left. They'll be dead within a week. If anything, mag dumping them at this point is a mercy killing. fucking hell, man. This game just doesn't let the fuck up. Adams is just completely done with Walker's shit by this point.
You okay?
Do I look okay to you?
What happened to Lugo isn't our fault.
Don't tell me what I already know. Lugo's blood is on your hands, not mine. Bang.
Conrad deserves to die, you know that.
And what do we deserve?
I think we both know the answer to that.
This soundtrack, oh my god, this soundtrack. This wouldn't be a blackjoshi video if I didn't touch on the soundtrack, and I mean seriously, how could I not? Listen to it, it's so bleak, climactic, and yes, apocalyptic. It perfectly encapsulates the finality of Walker's personal crusade against Conrad, carrying with it the emotional weight of everything that's happened up to this point in one final damning burst. This is definitely a stretch, but I can sense a lot of inspirations from the game's soundtrack. The Hell Suite in particular sort of reminds me of a song from the 10,000 Fists soundtrack by Disturbed, specifically Overburdened, which is essentially about a soldier standing in line waiting to enter hell after dying in battle, after having died for what was ultimately an unjust and futile cause. Cue some George Bush commentary here or something, I don't know. The slow rhythmic guitar that recurs throughout the game sort of reminds me of the Godspeed You Black Emperor tracks from the movie 28 Days Later. Like, I can't show you, but I mean, tell me this track doesn't fit with that movie. Walker and Adams fight their way up to the Burj Khalifa, only to find themselves completely surrounded.
This is your last chance, Walker. Surrender, or my men will cut you down.
Don't you dare! Well, fuck you then! I didn't come this far to surrender!
It's the only way inside that tower.
The fuck's sake! Give it up! The mission's over! We failed!
Not while I'm still breathing!
Fine! Then keep breathing! Run, motherfucker!
Adams sacrifices himself for Walker. Adams clearly resents Walker for the path he's taken them down and for the death of Lugo, and maybe the act of pushing him away and engaging the remnants in one last final stand was his way of gaining control of his destiny, accepting responsibility for his part in the bloodshed.
Well done, Walker. You've done what the storm could not. Destroyed the damn 33rd. Do you feel like a hero yet?
No matter how hard I tried, I never could escape the reality of what happened here. That was my downfall. There, finished. I hope you like it.
What the hell is going on?
Your eyes are opening for the first time. It hurts, doesn't it? Go on. What do you think?
You did this.
No, you did. Your orders killed 47 innocent people. Someone has to pay for your crimes, Walker. Who's it going to be?
Conrad is dead. He's been dead this whole time. Since long before Walker entered Dubai, he's almost completely rotten. He's probably been dead for weeks, if not months. It adds weight to the opening cutscene because in actuality, he was dressing up in his service uniform preparing to end his own life. A common theme among many servicemen who decide to take the hard way out.
It seems that reports of my survival have been greatly exaggerated.
This isn't possible.
Oh, I assure you, it is. How? Not how. Why? You were never meant to come here.
We have our orders. Leave the city, radio command from outside the storm wall. They send in the cavalry, we go home. What happened here was out of my control.
Was it? None of this would have happened if you just stopped. But on you marched. And for what?
We tried to save you.
You're no savior. Your talents lie elsewhere.
This is your fault, goddammit!
Stop right there, Lugo.
He wouldn't listen!
We didn't have a choice!
He turned us into fucking killers!
This isn't my fault.
It takes a strong man to deny what's right in front of him. And if the truth is undeniable, you create your own.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, he just stopped moving.
Walker, snap out of it!
I get it. We have to choose.
The truth, Walker, is that you're here because you wanted to feel like something you're not. A hero.
Lugo!
You left me to die!
I'm here because you can't accept what you've done. It broke you.
Colonel? Colonel, please.
What's going on, Walker?
It's Conrad. He did it. All of it.
You needed someone to blame, so you cast it on me. You're a dead man. I know the truth is hard to hear, Walker, but it's time. You're all that's left, and we can't live this lie forever. I'm going to count to 5, then I'm pulling the trigger.
Not real. This is all in my head.
Are you sure? Maybe it's in mine. 1.
No. Everything. All this.
It was your fault. If that's what you believe, then shoot me. 2.
I didn't mean to hurt anybody.
No one ever does, Walker. 3. It takes a strong man to deny what's in front of him.
Stronger than you were.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger. Immediately, I ain't letting bro yap at me forever. I mean, you can just pot yourself, and the game pretty much just ends then and there. It's morbid and depressing, but there's actually another 3 endings that you can attain if you decide to reject responsibility for your actions. In all cases, 2 weeks after Walker calls for an evac, the US Army arrives and finds him sitting at the foot of the Burj Khalifa, draped in Conrad's service uniform. Now here, you have 3 options. Number 1, kill everyone.
What is going on?
Gentlemen, welcome to Dubai.
Number 2, the classic suicide by proxy route.
Remember back in Kabul, John? Before things got bad? We were talking. About nothing, really. I said something about going home, and you said...
Home? We can't go home. There is a line men like us have to cross. If we're lucky, we do what's necessary and then we die. No, all I really want, Captain, is peace.
Number 3, put down your weapon and go home.
It's over. Time to go home.
You know, Colonel Captain. We drove through this whole city to find you. We saw things. You don't mind me asking, what was it like? How'd you survive all this?
Who said I did?
Oh my god, he actually is in hell, isn't he? For one, I still don't subscribe to the theory that he's actually in hell, because he completely stripped away the weight of the few crucial decisions you get to make here at the end of the game. I think it's perfectly likely that Walker would choose any one of these 4 endings after coming to terms with the truth, but I think being forced to return home after everything he's done is a much more grim fate than if he was just hallucinating it all and waiting to die in the remains of Dubai. But then again, this is why the story works. I know I shit on Walt Williams for pushing the hell theory earlier, but to his credit, the game never shoves it down your throat. It's left open to just enough interpretation that you could reasonably argue one way or another, and the ambiguity and subjectiveness of the experience is why Spec Ops: The Line is still so well remembered. Everyone's experiences and understanding of the game and its events are completely different, and part of the fun is discussing the story, your findings, and your conclusions between you and your friends. You might think it's pretentious slop, you might be utterly enamored by the apocalyptic descent into Walker's madness, or like half the gamers in the comment sections, you skipped all of the cutscenes and have no idea what the hell's going on. There's a reason blind playthroughs of this game are still so popular, because everyone's experiences are so unique. No matter what you might think of Spec Ops: The Line, it achieved exactly what it set out to do. It made you feel something, whether you love it or hate it. And the fact that people are still talking about it in spite of its mediocre sales and critical performance proves this beyond the shadow of a doubt. Thank you all so much for watching. This video is probably way fucking longer than it needed to be, but it's been an absolute pleasure making it for all of you to see, and I hope it's just as good a way to end the year as I began it with the Max Payne video. And don't forget to download War Thunder for free on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and mobile platforms using the links in the description right this very instant. And don't you dare forget the absolute treasure trove of bonuses you can redeem through these links for new and returning players of up to 6 months on PC and consoles. Seriously, you've got no excuse. You better do it right now. I know who you are and I will find you. Your time is limited. Literally, look at the sign. It's a limited time offer. Do it right now, right this instant. Do it now. If you think I missed anything, or if you want to shit on my Polygon tier gameplay, leave a comment down below. Discord and Patreon links down in the description. I haven't updated my Patreon in a very long time, but a special thank you to every single one of you, past and present. From the bottom of my heart for your continued support. You are all heroes. The live streams will be returning to this channel at 7 PM British time on Saturdays and Sundays. It'll be chill, it'll be fun, and it'll be very, very silly. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and of course, do you even remember why you came here?
Falcon 1, this is Command. Do you copy? We heard shots. Is everything okay? Sergeant Roberts, what is going on?
Gentlemen, welcome to Dubai.
Men have this idea that we can fight with dignity. That there's a proper way to kill someone. It's absurd. Or is it somehow better to do it clean with a bullet through the head? Is it somehow worse to chop him up with an axe? And what if you have to kill 10 or 100 or 1,000? What if in doing it you save 1,000 or you spare 10? You must destroy that idea. Show him what a messy, terrible thing it is to kill a man. And then show him that you relish in it.
Walker? Captain Walker, can you hear me?
What did you think when you arrived in Dubai? When you'd seen what I had done? Did you think it the work of a madman?
Yeah. I thought you'd lost your goddamn mind.
What's going on, Walker?
It's Conrad. He did it. All of it.
No, you did.
I'm gonna make these bastards pay for what they've done.
right there, Lugo.
He turned us into fucking killers!
Fuck you! Just shoot me! I'm standing right